Sharon's, yeah, she was on late earlier, I believe.
Oh, Sharon just.
Recording in
Oh,
progress.
oh, that was her.
Oh, he's in it.
Okay. Okay, Marilyn, you want to?
Should I go over there or can I stay
Shannon, might be warmer. All right, people,
Okay. Attention. When I heard that our talk this morning would be about decluttering, my mind went, of course, to housekeeping. And I thought, what parable in the Bible discusses housekeeping? I immediately thought of the parable of the lost coin, Luke 15, 8-10. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Doesn't she light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin." I've done that myself. In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. This parable is one of three that follows one another in the book of Luke. The parable of the lost sheep, the parable of the lost coin, and the parable of the lost son, whose return is celebrated with much feasting. I find it interesting to know that Jesus so often compares the rejoicing of the return of a lost soul with material matters. For Jesus himself knows what material beings we are, and therefore we can more easily relate to material analogies. After all, he himself wore a seamless coat. So as we think about decluttering our homes, let us think about what items we really do value, either for emotional or material reasons. And let's also think about decluttering our minds as to what is truly important. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 5:21.
that was just beautiful. Okay, the United Women in Faith. I couldn't figure it out, because some of them say of faith, in faith. United Women in Faith, purpose. The organized unit of United Women in Faith shall be a community.
Kathy, they can't hear you, good sir.
I'll stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up. Okay, purpose. The organized unit of United Women in Faith shall be a community of women whose purpose is to know God and to experience freedom as whole persons through Jesus Christ, to develop a creative, supportive fellowship, and to expand concepts of mission through participation in the global ministries of the church. Okay, now I changed the agenda a little bit, the order. So Dale isn't here. There's supposed to be a paper up there, one paper of who she sent cards to. There was about 10 people. We had a lot of injuries and sickness, and I told Sharon, I said, "Oh yeah, Sharon, every time we have a meeting, you have COVID. You better find out who's giving you COVID." Marilyn, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to have our speakers now.
Just went around.
And we have our two speakers, Peg, you raise your hand, and Chris. And I'll let them tell their story, but I just want to tell you a little bit about them. Okay, Peg has a BA in Communications from Mount Union College. Her career, nonprofit arts management and recruiter for office support positions. Interest, past member of the Cleveland Orchestra Choir for 25 years.
Wow.
Singing in her church choir, attending theater, hospice volunteer, spending time with family, and raising awareness about ovarian cancer. Okay, Chris, raise your hand. Okay, Chris has a BA in Business Administration from Baldwin Wallace College, associate degree in Fine Arts from Cuyahoga Community College, career, hospital management, coordinating residency medical education, and ambulatory outpatient services, motivational speaker and freelance writer. Her interests are traveling, sewing, upholstery, catering, restoring fine art, and volunteering whenever the community needs me. So I will turn the meeting over to Chris and Peg.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know. Yeah, you have to be over by the microphone.
Okay.
Now, what's
Praying together, turn all the way around.
Okay. Welcome.
All right, now, wait a
We're
minute.
so happy to be here. We've been looking forward to this. So we're here today because both of us have said that.
Wait. I think we need to hit that, got it?
Oh, got it?
Oh.
Lenny?
My husband.
Oh, she's waiting.
Sharon, can you hear us? Yes, she said
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
She's muted, but she said
Okay,
yes.
okay. And Sheila,
She's on iPhone.
okay, and so it's just two people?
Yeah,
on
just
this?
two.
Okay, can we get rid of that?
No, just leave
No,
it.
it's
Yeah.
okay, all right.
I think that's Melanie. You can't get rid of Melanie.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Melanie
okay.
can control it from her office.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, go on.
Okay. So the two of us met because we both were diagnosed with cancer. And a shock, right? Never smoked, it just doesn't matter. I mean, lifestyle, I should just say. But the setback that we found with other cancer patients was, oh my goodness, I need to get treatment. I need to focus on it. And I need to get my life in order, right? The knock at the door. I was 56. How old are you?
52.
52. Who at 56 and 52 is ready to turn their world upside down medically and personally in your space and keep your job because you need medical benefits, right? But so we went through treatment, but we met each other along the way, and we are part of Survivors Teaching Students. And Survivors Teaching Students goes to colleges, to residency programs, to internships, to medical schools, to weight loss programs, and all over the northern Ohio section, actually Mount Vernon, Wallace, all these different places we go to. And we talk about our experiences of how they found the cancer. But to make a long story short about it, and that's what brought us together, because we found out that the cancer patients, the biggest milestone they had to overcome was the clutter. We couldn't even deliver food sometimes to patients because their home was such that they were embarrassed to bring people in. So our mission together to helping the other cancer patients that were in our STS group, Survivors Teaching Students, was to help them get their lives in order. And by doing that, there's a book we can show you at the end. But by doing that, we started visiting consignment shops and doing everything we could, getting a box together. They'd give us a box of their items and we'd run to a consignment shop with them to see that, because many people financially are set back in their 50s. Most people are in their 50s when they get ovarian cancer. So we made this, it became such a part of our life and healing to help them to get money from their life treasures that we created lectures about it. And we went to oncology groups and just all over. And there's been so many people, it's so well received, it's so needed that you got to keep in mind that your health today, tomorrow it might not be the same. If you got the energy today, you need to do something about it. And so there's all different ways to declutter. And Peggy started with the biggest thing that was in her house. And we're going to talk about, we'll talk about the paperwork right now real quick. And
yeah, because when you get diagnosed, all of a sudden you feel like, oh my gosh, even though you're not given a death sentence, you feel like it. So better get things in order, better get those insurance policies, better get the taxes in order, better get things in order. So we realized that it just wasn't us, it was our other members that we were meeting, other cancer patients. So the easiest thing is the paperwork. So first thing I did was invested in a good shredder, And I can't tell you how satisfying it is to shred paper, and once you get started, you just keep going. It's a wonderful feeling. And then I did a little bit of research and thought, I had a husband who collects everything and doesn't want to throw anything out. You don't have to keep those tax returns 7 years. You can get rid of them after 3 years. And he still doesn't believe me, but, and he gets very nervous when he hears that shredder going, comes running downstairs, what are you shredding? But you can get rid of paper, and that's an easy thing to get started with. Shredding the bills, shredding the credit card receipts. Everything is online these days, so you don't need to keep that information any longer. Keep the 3 years of the tax records, but shred everything else and just start freeing up boxes, getting boxes out of the house. And we helped friends start going through and thinking, okay, you can get rid of this, it's okay. You don't have to do everything all at once. You can start small, start in the corner of a room and work your way around. Don't think I have to do this all this week. Spend an hour a day, spend 15 minutes a day just to get started. But we're here today to just kind of maybe give you a little kickstart and say, hey, I'm gonna go home and open up that drawer and see what's in it, and not necessarily close it back up, but open it up and throw some things out. All the pens that are in the drawers or in the cups that don't work. It's those little things that you start to get rid of. Once you start decluttering the little things, then you can start attacking the bigger things, which the furniture, the collections. Those are the things that are harder to get rid of because they mean something to you and you don't necessarily want to part with them. But then you have to start thinking, well, who could I give this to? Who might want it? And right, and okay, then who's the grandchildren and children? They don't want nothing. Right. But if you know that you want to leave it to somebody, put their name on the back of it. And then it becomes their problem when something happens to you, then they have to deal with it. But we are just here today to kind of give a little kickstart to give you permission to start getting rid of things. One cruel lesson that we all realize is that our stuff is not worth as much as we thought it was. I mean, that is really, it's heartbreaking. The Precious Moments collections, the Hummel collections, the Hummels, yes. Okay, and how many people have those Longenberger baskets? Yes, oh, yes.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was one of the consultants, and not only did you have to buy the baskets from her, but you had to save the box that it came in because that would make it more valuable. Well, my house is now full of boxes and baskets, and we are planning a big bonfire upon our demise. And those baskets are gonna go up like nothing flat. But we just hope we give you a little suggestion today about what to do with some of these things. You're not gonna get rich. You might find something of value. Chris travels to a lot of shops, and she does find valuable artwork or valuable frames. Yes, every now and then you might find something, but you just have to realize nobody wants our stuff, and so do what you can. Give it to who you think might appreciate it. We have a woman that we spoke to in one of these groups, and she had the Precious Moments collection. 80 precious moments. Well, nobody wanted 80 of them, but she started giving one away at a time. And, it's somebody's birthday, you got a precious moment, lucky you. And then, she felt good that it went to somebody that might enjoy one, but didn't want all 80. So hopefully we'll have some good suggestions for you.
Most important thing you could do is have a valuables folder. Most important, because I do frequently go into resale and consignment shops, but mostly resale, thrift stores, Goodwill, whatever, checking, right? I live in a 500 square foot. I used to have the 4 or 5 bedrooms, and then I'm down to 1 bedroom, and it's a long story, but you have, something comes in, something goes out, right? But, so I can't buy a lot of stuff. If I do go to a Goodwill store or Salvation Army or Restore for Habitat, it's for somebody else, okay? And it's also to just kind of look what people are removing. China cabinets, it's so sad, because people don't even know what China is, let alone. But I've seen incredible doll houses made from a China cabinet. So it really was clever, like 3 stories, like 3, like very clever. So if you're a grandma and you've got that grandchild, boy, girl, and you want to do something creative, you can even temporarily move it into a dollhouse for them and take the china out. Very entertaining, very interesting. But so what I find when I go to these stores is valuables that were misunderstood. So that's why I say you need a valuables folder. You need to go on the internet. You could look at appraisals. I have a book if you're interested after, very inexpensive to get you started with this, that shows you all the connections. But your children or some significant other is going to come in there and it's all going to go to Goodwill or, yeah, and hopefully you trust the auctioneers, But if you do not put in your valuables folder that painting was $5,000, blah, blah, the paintings you get on cruise ships are not worth anything. I'm sorry. I guess this was a photographer for an auction company. He told me, seriously, all these people have these paintings from these, cruise ships and, never, ever. So what I do when I go into a thrift store is I look at the back of all the pictures first. I never look at the front. Because if the picture is framed, a $400 frame, it's valuable. And I have found so many wonderful pieces of art, which I then give to fundraisers to auction, because they put them in there for $15, and the frame alone is worth $400. So imagine what the picture is on the other side. 9 times out of 10, it's a collector. It's a side print. I can't tell you how many famous artists but too many. And that's the story here, is that if you do not put underneath your porcelain figure from Hungary, I'm Hungarian, if you don't put your person's name with masking tape underneath, that should get that item, or, behind the picture or something, it's going to end up in the wrong hands. And I'm going to get it for $15, and I'm going to give it to a fundraiser, and yeah, they're going to make $200, $300 on it. You see what happens though when you don't, and again, if it's sentimental, then you should put a note in the valuables folder, the reason it's sentimental. Your family wants that. So they know that the valuables folder, and then you have your will and your deeds and your all that folder, and your, so you got to get, these are very important to get that together. And the value is gone for a lot of things. Years ago when I was a child, we'd go into this, neighbor moved out and this truck would come up and they'd give somebody $1,500 for the contents of the home, right? Now you have to pay them $1,500 to remove the contents of the home, because even if it's solid oak, even if it's, I was going to have to pay somebody $200 to move a bookcase out of my basement when I sold my home. And so I ended up getting my Sawzall, that's a reciprocating saw, it's a saw, and chopping it into 6 pieces and pulling it up the steps and putting it on the tree log for the garbage. Because I've done 2 more after that for my friends, because they don't want it. And it wasn't a china cabinet, it was a bookcase, it was an entertainment center. And and we paid well over 25 years ago, 30 years, no, 40, oh my. So over $1,000. But all the people I offered it to, it had to be out of the house before I moved out. So this is what's happening. Look at your item, like pianos. Now there's an issue with ivory and the reselling of a piano with ivory on it. It's just so strange. This is, again, the auction guy told me that. Big deal, ivory. You can kind of give the piano away, but if there's ivory keys, it falls under that act of ivory problems. I never would have thought that. So you look at the item that you have in your home and you think it's easy to give to the children. Well, wipe that out. Grandchildren sometimes love it. We move on to the next thing. But so very seriously think about transporting when it has to be removed, or transporting when a child wants it, or neighbor wants it, because sometimes the Boy Scouts will come in. If somebody is really down and out and there's compromised family members, and they helped our family during the cancer situation with a yard renewal thing. But sometimes there's organizations in the city that will help. Restore for Habitat will take a lot and move it out. But it's mind-boggling for your children. And yeah, and Peggy's gonna tell you about decluttering for your pets. You pet your dog. The dog would like more space. The cat doesn't care. The cat loves it. Yeah. You have no idea how much the cat loves your stuff, but do it for your dog. You know, if you don't do it for your spouse or your kids, do it for your dog. More space, you know. They're close to the floor, but yeah.
Yeah, and just start, like I said, start small. Look at the things in your house, what you can get rid of, what you can let go of. It's a famous, I can't think of the woman's name, that says if you can hold it in your hand and it's precious to you, keep it. But if not, you can let it go. And also, if there's something big, take a picture of it and keep the picture. But then also, how many of us have photo albums that we don't know what to do with? And, you know, if you don't know anybody in the pictures, out they go, you know, just, sorry, mom and dad, I don't know who your friends were and they're gone. But take a picture of the things that are precious. I had a curly maple bedroom set when I was a kid, and it was a canopy bed. It was just gorgeous. It was my great aunt's and I loved it, antique. But I had no place for it in my home. Once my mother passed, I didn't know what to do with it, so I thought I would give it to a little cousin. She wanted it if she could paint it black. And I thought, okay, well, you're not getting it. And so I took a picture of it, and I can treasure it. I can remember it as a child, and I loved it. And an antique dealer came in and took it, and I don't know what happened to it, but at least somebody wanted it. He thought he could use it. So it's okay to let things go, but you know, if it means something to you, take a picture and you can remember it that way. So, and in this digital age, you can, you know, keep a lot of those pictures on your phone for a long time.
The library now has a system where they can digitize your photos. So please look into the library for assistance when it comes to, because your children might want the digital copies. I noticed that my kids have it now, and they surface with these childhood memories that I didn't even think were important, but yeah. So the library will assist you in making them into digitizing them. How else do we want to hit on?
What do people do? So many in my generation had sterling silver.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
the one gentleman was left with his mother's collection. Remember that day at the health fair? And he said, I'm just so tired of polishing silver. When does it end? It's a difficult thing because the plated or solid, I mean, it's plated is not worth anything, right? I mean, you can take it, we've all taken it in, right? Yeah, like, wow, this is worth something. Yeah, but he was quite destroyed by it. We have had so many stories. Teacups. So we're almost, second bedroom was full of teacups. This gentleman, all these men get these ladies things, and he donated them to a tea room. And now he gets forever biscuits for free and tea. But see, you got a cuckoo clock. Nobody wanted the cuckoo clock. Clocks are really hard to get fixed. Yeah, so he donated it to a German restaurant. So it's, even if it doesn't work, it's awfully pretty.
Yeah.
You have to find some destination where it lives on, even if you don't own it.
It seems like,
I'm sorry.
it seems like with all the immigrants coming to this country, that would be a great market for furniture.
it is, and I don't know whether your church sponsors a family coming in or not, but they definitely are taking furniture. And they'll even take mattresses and pillows now. There's a Lutheran organization that will take everything and use that. Just going back 1 minute, sterling silver, the price of silver is down right now, but there are companies, there's a company in North Olmsted called Carrot Coin, and they will buy your silver.
Coin shops.
The coin shops will buy it. And coins are worth what they're worth. I mean, that's it. You'll be lucky if you get somebody. But sterling silver, I've been waiting for it. I have I have some packed aside, just waiting for the price to go back up, and it's not. Gold is okay, but sterling, and it's regulated by the government, so somehow they can't cheat you out of it, but it's hard to just let it go when you know that it meant. So, and my new thing is that I use the sterling, I use the crystal, I use the china, and if it gets broke or chipped or whatever, oh well, at least I was enjoying it, so. You know, what are we saving it for? You know, eat the chocolate cake first, so, you know. But yes, Habitat for Humanity will take furniture, and I don't know whether they share it with,
Some furniture, they're picky about what they take.
and you have to have it outside or in your garage, they won't come in your
Yeah.
house anymore.
Oh.
Yeah,
See,
since
the
COVID,
Transportation,
Yeah.
movement, logistics of it,
yeah.
yeah.
I was surprised at the things I got rid of recently with Habitat for Humanity. You just let them know what you have, but they won't take anything extra. If you add something to the list, they won't take it. But I had patio furniture, old patio, retro patio furniture, and they took that, so I was surprised.
They take building materials too.
Yes,
like
they
tile
will.
or
What kind?
tile or-
Building.
Building
materials.
materials, like
Oh,
tile.
But they'll only take it if they have something that they're waiting for to use.
That
That's
could
why,
be too.
because they might take it this week,
But
but
they
they
might
don't
not
need
take
it for where they're working on. They don't store anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why, so 1 week you'll take it, next week they might not.
Boy, I love that you're on top of this. We're not teaching you, we're bringing it to the surface there. It's wonderful, yes, that you're reaching out already in the community. And that's what we're trying to do, is tell you to the community needs you. It needs your stuff. It needs your stuff to keep. And is there things at home that you don't know what to do with? So many times the audience gives us that's where this book comes in. At every single lecture, I revise the book with the comments that are given to us. And there must be something in your home that is really traumatizing you to get rid of. The Christmas ornaments that you thought the kids were gonna take, that was an emotional one.
Doll collection.
Oh,
I gave mine to my grandniece.
yes, keep going down the line,
But I
right?
think there are some sort of, maybe around doll museums or doll that maybe if you have a valuable doll, they may take it. I think there's in the area somewhere, Strongsville or something.
That's sad, yeah.
And, historical societies.
Oh, historical societies love things.
Yes.
But also they've been historical for a while. So now all of us are knocking on their door to take our stuff. Like the treadle sewing machine. Well, every single historical society I've been in has one, but the Amish want them.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, there's a need in the Amish community without the electric still that that was from the audience. I'm giving you.
They'll take old desks, because I had an old desk put into my driveway. And just so happens, Amish were working down the street, they came by, they stopped by, and hey, can we take this? It was my father's, it was an old desk from like the 20s or 30s or something. And they took it and they were thrilled, they were gonna refinish it, and I go, great. Instead of going in the garbage.
Yeah.
So they like
Oh,
refinishing
nice.
old stuff.
Oh, good stuff, yeah. They wouldn't take my china cabinet and they wouldn't take my bookcase in the basement, okay? Because the Amish were in our neighborhood too. Interesting. And they wouldn't take it.
Well, they work on houses.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know, so they're driving back and forth with their vans all the time, and they say, look at stuff that's out in the yard.
yeah, we in Ohio, and I think it's North Carolina, are the worst in the country. Because we have barns, we have attics, we have basements, we have sheds. And we have big houses, so our kids leave it all in the house, right? And I live part of the year in California. This doesn't happen. They come here for the antique cars because we are all car makers. There's a lot of collectors here. They're on the plane coming back from LA with me looking for antiques, cars. I went to a car show, nothing but Porsches, right? And the favorite car in the entire place. Guess where? I said, where did you get? He said it was a piece of junk. Where did you get it from? Canton, Ohio.
Yep.
They do not keep things. And if they do have something, it's precious. I mean, it is totally worth 300,000 or more. I mean, they do not have attics. They rent the attic out. If they have an attic, it's rented out for $1,500 a month with a bathroom and a bedroom. If they have a shed, it's converted. If they have a basement, it's a family's down there. They do not have storage. And that's our biggest problem. Other problem is Hallmark, American Greetings, and holidays. How many times, and the better you are, the more wonderful you are as a person, the more gifts you get that you didn't want. I'm sorry. So we have to be better gift givers, especially as we get older, because I've seen 72 years of gifts. Okay, the first 5 years, maybe, but think about us. We are also contributing. Can we be better gift givers, right? Anything else you're trying to get rid of? You can, the book I'm selling for $5 because it basically is, it's a prototype of what we're trying to do in all these years, been years doing this, and all the comments and all the resources now where you can find who wants it. Musical instruments, and again, the treadle sewing machine, like who would have thought? But the audience tells us about these hard to get rid of things. Take a picture of each room. This is my 93-year-old mother did. Took a picture of every room in her house when she finally moved into independent living. And we sent it to the whole family and they circled what they wanted.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that wonderful? Cost me $73 to send that stupid ceramic frog to California. But, a promise is a promise. Other things could be driven, again, logistics of movement. And so that grandchild in California might want that item. It's so funny because what they attach to is not the same thing I attach to with my mother's things, But yeah, so she's happy, the grandkids are happy. But yeah, keep thinking about how do we remove it? How do we get it there? How many people want it in California? I mean, all of it. But, again, the postage and the delivery and it's a shame. But take pictures, make sure the family members are all included. Do they want that cuckoo clock, And then you gotta negotiate. But anything else that it's been, oh, thank you. So Hallmark, American Greek, all those holidays. I got a necklace all the time because I love necklace, little pendants. So, and then I lost an earring, and what do you do with all this stuff? So I was going through my jewelry box and I took all those pendants and I had this heavy chain. We passed it around. And I just put them with the needle nose pliers, twisted them all on this. This had originally a few items on it. And I just covered it. And now my jewelry box is empty. And I wear all the necklaces at the same time. And also clothing, I do a lot of sewing. So I love this jacket, but it didn't have a pocket. So I took my old jogging pants and took the pocket when it was time to retire it. And I sewed it in this because you need something to put your glasses and your phone. And yes, so we also talk in this book about reusing, recycling, and repurposing. I had 10 in my little 500 square foot lids, and so now I have 2.
Yeah.
Because they have these different 3 sizes. And so I took all of my pot lids and stuck them in a box, put them in the attic, and I said, I have these 2. I have never gone up in 2 years to get the other pot lids. It's amazing. I mean, you only got 4 burners, right? And yeah.
What's
So-
the same with Tupperware lids? You got the lids, but not the bottoms.
That's right.
Yeah.
One time I just went through my whole thing and.
Yeah,
the whole
and
bunch
clean
out,
it-
got the-
clean
got
it
the
up.
ones that fit.
Right.
But the pot lids really made a difference in a 500 square foot. And I cook all the time. I do a lot of cooking. And those 2 did it. Sweaters. The kids left the sweaters when they left home. They're both out of state. And so I cut them up and made them in these squares and then put them together. There were mittens that you showed me that were from sweaters. You can make leg warmers. These are the pockets from the pants I cut up. So you can just stitch them, very carefully stitch them. You don't have to be a seamstress. You don't need a sewing machine. But, so yes, you're reusing right there. That's brilliant. But, yeah, do you have any questions for us? Like, the people we meet and the stories, it's actually like we have so much empathy for people. One gentleman told him about the vinyl collection and his books. He was a plain dealer writer.
Yeah, books and records, and I mean, this man has 10,000 books. And he's going through them, but he eventually will be passing them along to the libraries. The libraries love to get those for their book sales. Oh, Westlake does. Westlake will take them.
Oh, Westlake, I think Westlake has the ongoing shop where you sell. They actually have a store
Right.
in their library for selling.
There's a store in North Olmsted that buys reused.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
They don't give you much for them,
half price books or something. I went to the one at the half price books or
Yeah,
whatever it
that's
was,
it.
yeah, in North Olmsted with, my mother's vinyl, Dean Martin records and, all that. And I think I went in with 2 big boxes and I think they gave me $5 and I just turned my head and walked out, and said.
Yeah, but I think it's $5 to buy something in their store.
Well, that's right, exactly, they want you to do that too.
Now, Savers gets paid by the pound. So that's where I take my books, or the library. The library's a good one, but Savers does something by the pound with books. Because when I drop them off, he goes, oh, we love books. So check into that.
And because you're a church group, what do you do with old Bibles?
That's
That one is, apparently, you can burn them. There are churches that will take them and will burn them, because.
Just like the flags they do. in
Exactly,
certain ceremonies.
exactly, yeah. I cleaned out several, friends' homes and found family Bibles and they didn't have family left and I just was crushed. I didn't know what to do and I went to our pastor and they said that, collect them up and they will take them someplace and they will burn them. So, because it just seemed like a sin to throw out a Bible.
But
And
there's ways
There's
to,
ways to.
and like in this book too, I'll tell you, I have to add that
So
one.
you're saying if
Yeah.
you donate a Bible to a Goodwill or something, they don't.
I would be very careful, I would ask Goodwill if they'll take the Bibles, but, if you have an organization like some of these, folks that are coming in from other countries, they might want a Bible. Or,
You know,
nursing homes might.
rarely do I see them for sale at the Goodwill. It's really funny, because I look at the books, I
I
just,
put it in with all the other books,
Yeah.
but yet they probably will.
So where can you donate it? Anywhere?
I
Try. Give it to, especially St. Vincent or a saint, like a religious organization, but there's different versions of Bibles
Ask your
too.
pastor.
Yeah.
You can also just Google stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you learn.
Or you could get this book, yeah.
Maybe a hospice place.
A
would take
hospice
them.
place might put them in their library, they have lots of books available.
But I didn't know that, just like with the ivory, there's a way to.
Independence twice a year, I know they do it once a year, they have a big recycling thing. And you
Yeah.
drive through the recreation area and you drop off clothes, you drop off books, you drop off computers. And so I.
Brooksville has that too.
Yeah, so you can just do that,
Yeah,
yeah.
recycling is,
They
if you
have
can
shredding twice a
recycle,
year for
yeah.
But then
But they limit it to 2 boxes, that's what I don't like, I have many more.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just wanted to share with you, a couple years ago in the Agricultural Journal, they were telling everybody that they were going to reopen the library in the jail. And you could bring,
Oh,
yes.
and I thought to myself, oh boy, this lady.
No, there is books for prisoners, and there is a whole,
organization.
yeah, it's in the book, Yeah, I just found out. No, the researching I do is amazing. Because it leads you to this thing and leads you to this, you know, my goodness, the hours, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's like, maybe I should go to bed. But yes, there's a books for prisoners drive.
Well, anyway, my husband and I were going out of town and she had a certain weekend that you could bring them, but we were gonna be gone, so I called, can I bring my books sooner? Yes, and in a half hour, in our house, we pulled together 50 books.
Oh, my.
And we took it down there and they were very appreciative. Monday morning in the paper, stop bringing the books. Yeah, I mean, that's good that they reopened the library, but I knew that was gonna happen because I worked at Judson Retirement Community and the residents who came there, the biggest single thing that they
Oh.
brought too much of was books.
Yeah.
Even though they edited it before they came, they still had to cut it down more. And of course, Judson had its own library, so that's nice, they could contribute, but then the Martin Luther King
Yeah.
Library was just across the street, so they could take them there.
Do they still have the Case Western Reserve? I put it in the book. The Case Western Reserve Annual Memorial, they still have it. They stopped it during COVID maybe, but then,
No, it's still going now.
wonderful. Has anyone, some people have been, right? It is amazing. Of course, now I have thousands of books, right? But yeah, it's whatever you can carry to the parking garage. But it is an amazing source of great books. But see, medical books, my one daughter's a physician, they're obsolete.
Right.
But for some people, they're still okay. I know that sounds crazy, but they're not good for the active doctor. You should be going to your conferences and getting up-to-date information and stuff. But some people that are in nursing, maybe, to see the big picture, but it really, you shouldn't be storing them in your home. And I don't know about law books. Does anybody know about?
A lot of it's online, and if it's a case book, yes, it could be a precedent case from many years ago, but.
Yeah,
But laws, Ohio laws, different state laws, municipal laws, they all
Yeah.
change. So it may or may
see,
not.
good point about the changing society. It changes so fast. The encyclopedias, there's a section on that. They're online. Britannica, there's maybe 25 that I saw, and I explained it in there.
You can always put the books in the dumpster back here, because then we get money for it.
See, that's what Savers does, is they get money by the pound for them when you turn them in.
I've never heard of Savers, where is that?
Savers is for,
Is it a
one is in Brooklyn and one's in Rocky River. No, it's national, and it's for children. It's for fundraising for children. March of Dimes? Something like that, yeah. But they definitely, because when I bring books up there, they go, we love books. I go, what do you, oh, that's great. But I guess they pick and choose which ones they put out, but the rest are pounds of, yeah, so it's great.
And you're saying Savers is March of Dimes?
It's in the book.
I want two of those books.
Yeah, no, you know what, it's just outstanding because I combed the area. Now I did Ottawa County, Huron County, Lorraine County, because we're lecturing out that way also. So I increased the research to another county. But it's just amazing. So the book is set up, so consignment, so you can get money first, okay? Everybody wants to do that first. And then to the historical societies and senior centers, and then museums, okay, along the way. And then we go to the thrift stores, Goodwill, all that. And then we go to, charities. Then we go to, trash. Yeah. So I lead you through it. Like, this is where you can get your money, and this is, yeah. It's amazing, the resources, but that Savers is in there, but it's something to do with children. So,
Well, we have such great libraries in Northeast Ohio,
oh,
and there's no reason to
Oh, well.
buy, for most part, not, that's what I'm using to buy books. So down at the Hudson Library, they have a friend store,
Yeah,
So I go in there and I buy books for my grandchildren. So I was talking one day to the president of the Friends organization. She happened to be working. And I said, how much money do you collect? Because their books are, like $1, $2 quarter. She said, we give to this library $35,000 every year.
Really?
Wow.
So then I thought, oh, well, I use the Twins.
because they volunteer when they're selling it, right? Yeah, the volunteers run it and
Yeah.
it's free. Yeah, does it?
So
30.
I use the Twinsburg Library, and they have a Friends organization too. So I called them and I said, how much money do you give to the Twinsburg Library? And they said, oh, we give $20,000 every year.
Wow,
So
wow,
that's
that's impressive.
And the community profits.
Right.
So there's a section too about the libraries. There in Lorraine County, you can get a ukulele. You can get a bird watching kit. You can get, like, it's so amazing. And I listened,
have toys.
yeah,
Yeah, toys.
puzzles and toys. And then they have tools. There's a tool library.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Akron is one of them, Lakewood. And some of them you have to be in the city and you have to pay $20 a year or something. A tool library, skip Home Depot. But it's just amazing. And now you can digitize your photos at the library. They'll help you with wills and resumes and job testing and stuff like it's listed. It's just amazing what I found. Lorraine County actually had more to offer. And this 3D printing is now coming to almost every library, had more to offer than Cuyahoga. And it's by me branching out to other counties, I got to see what they offered. And this is all about, go back to your community as a church. First of all, you want to make sure you're strong. And then reaching out to the next level where your name is out there and they go, wow, those Methodists, aren't they just wonderful? Like maybe you donated and then the other thing about donations, I do everything in my kids' name because I do the short form. I don't do the long form. So if you say, I'm not going to donate because I can't write it off, put it in your kid's name. It's not illegal. They're not going to, IRS is not going to knock on your door. I just donate it and say donated by Dr. Da-da-da, so they can write it off and the daughter loves it. Yeah, so it makes her happy. Apple pie and donations.
My aunt and uncle didn't have any children, so
Louder.
my aunt and uncle didn't have any children. So before, maybe 5 years before they passed away, she gave me her diamond earrings and she gave my sister her silverware.
Yep.
And that when they passed away, the nephews, everybody came and everything disappeared.
Oh, nice.
So that's why they gave the stuff to us
Yeah, you should
have
give,
to,
yeah,
right.
you should give it.
Right.
to pass, before they passed away.
And
because
it's a
you never know
pleasure
what's
to
gonna
give
happen.
it, yeah, it's a and that way people know that it's going to someone, they are comforted.
Yeah.
My grandmother gave me a couple pieces of furniture because she wanted me to have them.
Yeah.
And I still have those pieces of furniture after,
Oh,
50
nice.
years. And I know that grandma gave that to me, she wanted, that was important. And yes, if there's jewelry that you want to go to somebody, give it to them now. If you're not wearing them.
You don't have to pay the insurance.
Well,
Right.
All my stuff I gave to my kids.
Yes.
Good for you.
Diamonds and stuff because
See, maintenance.
I had to have it insured every year. And I
Right.
thought, well, why am I paying for something?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
let
my
them
mom-
do it.
Go on.
My mom got sick, so she called my brother and I in. I said, okay, I want both of you to go through the house. What do you want?
Mhm.
She had the jewelry. We went through it, my sister-in-law, and she wrote it all down. So when she passed away, we knew what was going to
Oh,
it.
nice.
See,
That's right.
valuable.
I mean, it's not a fun get together,
No,
but it helped her know that, where her stuff was going.
Exactly.
One of the saddest places I've ever been is here in Brecksville, and of course, you've all been
What?
there. It's called Transitions.
Sad.
I've been there,
Oh.
I went there with a
in the
friend
book.
who was leaving her home and going
Where we
into an
took
apartment.
Mary.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing. You see this warehouse-sized
Uh-huh.
floor full
Yes.
of china cabinet,
Mhm.
china, and dining room sets, and just
Clothing.
But if you're looking for something, Like,
You
you
can-
can probably
Right.
find it there if you have to, maybe a plate or something
Yeah.
you need to.
Right.
But
That
it
was
won't-
our first stop with with one of our members to help her to get money. And she was in shock when
Yeah,
all
I
this,
went with a friend who was giving up
Yeah.
her home
Yeah.
to go into a residence and,
yeah,
you know.
oh, it was just pennies.
Yeah.
Yes,
I take things down to Happy Tales. It's on Merriman Road in Akron, and everything goes, they don't take clothes.
huh,
Dishes, pictures, books, records.
Yeah.
Everything goes to the Summit County Animal Shelter because it's a non-kill shelter.
Right.
And so I feel that the money they get for it.
To tack on the giving away stuff, we downsized to a smaller house a while back, and things just kept getting smaller and smaller with all the stuff. And wife and I both have put our head together, it's like, okay, we're gonna do a lot of what you're describing right now. And as we were going through the house, we were all upside down, confused. It's like, we're gonna bring our son and our daughter over to the house, spend a day and go through it with them and let them kind of claim whatever.
Correct.
They claimed like 90% of it, but neither would take a piece home with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want that. Oh, well, I can't take it. But then the thought of at least putting their name on the back of
Right.
it, finding a
Right, then
remote
it-
room in the
the owners-
basement, just put all that stuff there. and let
This
them
is my
deal
pile,
with
that's your pile.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
This is a joke. Sell your house to your daughter. And
I like it. I like it.
That's a good one.
was wonderful. We took what we wanted and we left the rest of it.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Well, we have come to the end of our time here, but we do appreciate every. Oh, the quilt,
Oh,
or
so
or
this
the blanket.
This was all of the sweaters.
Sweaters.
These. The daughters left their Benetton and all these beautiful sweaters. And I said, okay, I'll fit you. So each one got a quilt. Yeah, so they're all,
And- Yeah, and then she also put brooches on a
yeah,
Oh.
on a purse, so yeah, she is very crafty. Yeah, I've got the crap, she's got the crafty, so yeah. Thank you so much. We hope we gave you all a little inspiration, and maybe you'll make a little money, maybe not, but at least it'll be out of the house, so that's
This was
it's good,
wonderful.
yeah, so.
And I didn't read through it. I thought it was decluttering your brain.
Hey,
Oh,
well, you-
someone else said
And-
that. on
Yeah,
Monday.
but you know what, when you start decluttering a closet, it declutters your brain.
Yeah. But, yeah. it was good.
And we'll be giving, them $50 to outrun ovarian cancer.
Right, because that's,
So I will.
being
mail that to
survivors,
them.
that's an important group to us, so thank you. Thank you, and best of luck to all of you with your decluttering.
You liked it, huh? Good. I hope we helped. It's so important.
Wonderful.
Declutter, you know.
people are more important than things. People, yeah.
And if anybody wants one of the books, just let us know. Oh, thank you. Did you take two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're fine now. Yeah, the cover.
You saved the book.
All right, you will take out the money.
Yes.
I have to have you.
Yeah. I
Someone
definitely.
sign them.